Welcome to the Living the EQ Life podcast. What do we represent? Represent engagement, conversations, ambitious, driven discussions, empathy, love, and of course, goodwill. And the whole idea of having this conversation is to see how we can engage with the world, blend emotional intelligence with bold conversations. And so it's really important that we have some of these conversations with our friends, with our family members, with our acquaintances, with people who are doing amazing things with themselves, who are actually unapologetic about what they think and their perspectives about life. I'm really excited for this episode. I don't know, it's my very first and I'm super excited. I'm fascinated for what it's going to turn out to be. I have my friends here as well, looking at me and encouraging me behind the camera. And yes, we have our very first guest, who is a very dear friend. I have known this guest for 10, 15 years, maybe. 10, 15 years, I'm very sure. About 15 years plus, and she's been that very good friend, that very good family member now, because I call her family now. And it's interesting to know that she wears many hats. Today's podcast is actually about juggling law, life, life, law, love, and of course, the modern hats a woman wears today. It's very interesting to know that she's a lawyer, a real estate expert, a sex therapist. You have no idea. A motivational speaker and public speaker. She's also into what again? Tell me more. Tell us more.
Fashion.
Fashion. My goodness. Oh, yes. Which is actually the main bit. The main bit of it is actually her fashion, to be very honest. She has made amazing pieces for a lot of people. And you'll be amazed when you actually see Theresa's work. A woman of many parts. And so you can imagine what we'll be discussing today. But before we, dive in, I'll have to ask this question. When someone actually meets you on the road, Theresa, and they ask you, what do you do? How do you introduce yourself? What do you tell them you do? Because of these many hats that you wear.
Okay, so when people ask me what I do, it's not a question I can answer, because most times I'm different things to different people. I render different services to different clients. So it all depends on the clients I meet at that time and what the service you would want me to render to you. So for some people in my life, a lawyer to them. For some people, I'm a realtor. They want me to, Theresa, help me look for a house. I trust you. I know you do the work well. For some people, they will meet me, Theresa, please, how am I going to lay down with my husband? For some people, they will meet me, Theresa, I want you to dress me on my birthday. For different people, I'm different things to different people. So I can't categorically say, this is what I do. Wow. But to round it up, I'll say I'm a serial entrepreneur. That's what I'll say.
Interesting. So I didn't add during introductions that Theresa Osime is actually a mother and a wife. So you can imagine wearing all of these hats, and she still has to go home, cater to her husband, and of course, her two lovely girls. So the question you ask yourself is, how does she wear these many hats? She goes through life doing all of these things. In a day, she's in a police station trying to bail a client. The next minute, she's actually on a site trying to sell a property or advising a group of people who are trying to sell a property on the best way to go about it by the books and by the law. The next is she's advising clients on how best to treat their sex life and how they should behave. And the next thing you see her measuring people because she needs to probably make an outstanding outfit for you to wear to an occasion. She does all of these things, and you begin to wonder, what's she about? What's that thing she does? Where's that energy coming from? What's that motivation? What inspires you? And it begs into the next question. So Theresa, what came first for you with all of these things you are? And you do these things so well, selflessly. I must say, Theresa is that one person I know that is so selfless. So you do it selflessly, you do it with passion. Everything with passion. Like each of these various fields, she does with passion. What came first for you as an individual?
Okay, for me, as an individual, entrepreneurship came first. And I think it's because of the way I was brought up, because I was brought up by my dad. And my dad will always say something that any space you have, never be idle. So I have a working mind. I'm always wanting to do something. And once you're always doing something, you are out of negativity. So what it was for me is that when I was in secondary school, GS3, this is how my whole story started. My father, we have, when you write your WAEC, you have this 3-month break before. My father, like, you can't stay at home. I went to a very big school, St. Jude's. We had swimming pool and every rich students and all. So I found myself in a tailor's shop. And I didn't understand why I was in a tailor's shop. My father's like, see, stay there. Instead of you staying at home, stay in the tailor shop and learn. I was with a Yoruba woman. And trust me, when then you're in this local, it's not now that we are doing pattern drafting and all of that. You're in a local tailor shop. They will send you to buy amala. They will send you to do this. I was so embarrassed when my friends would pass and they see me in the shop. But what changed my mentality was when we resumed SS1, I had learned how to use the machine. My father bought me my first machine, which I still have till now. And I told my mates, see, during my break, I learned fashion. I went to the fashion shop to learn. And my uniform is big. My this is big. My that is big. I said, okay, let me fit it for you. And one fitting, some of my classmates paid me 100 naira, 150 naira, 200 naira. And when I had like 20 of my classmates bring their, maybe when I do one for one person, the next person is saying, Theresa fitted my dress and it was so good. So I did it for several people in my class and I calculated my money. And I was like, this is how free. You just do something with your hand and money will just come. And I just realized that in school, I could buy myself lunch. I told my daddy, I made money from sewing, fitting my classmates' clothes. And I could buy one of my books, maybe my exercise book without asking this is fine. I think I need to take. So for me, entrepreneurship came first. And my father instilled it in me that you always have to be busy. And before children, I had a career. And I know most people would say, because now I'm a mother, I'm 9 months pregnant. I'm sewing to the day I give birth. If I leave the hospital like this, I'm back to the market. And most people say, Theresa, why you don't look like a mother? I said, because I don't feel like a mother. I have children. My only job was to bring them into this world, but I don't feel. There's no feeling in me that I say, no, I don't feel like that. So my 9 months, I will still sew till the day I go. I'm coming back from the hospital. I'm still doing my jobs. So I am removing that mentality of, because I'm now having a family, I'm forgetting who I was before I came into my family. No, I have to let my husband know that before I came into your home, I was becoming somebody. And while I'm in your home, it's very difficult. I wouldn't say it's rosy. It's a very difficult path to follow. Knowing that you want to do your career and still do motherhood because you have to pay attention to your children. And it comes with its downs and it's. So what I had to do is, I had to do my NYSC when I was having my kids. I was working with a firm, but I realized that my kids are not having the attention that they need. What did I do? I left my office. I have a private room in my own home, and I changed my room into my office space. And I have a BQ in my house, and I changed my BQ into my fashion space. So what do I do? So
I'll just butt in here quickly, just quickly, before because you've given us so much. And I'm sure people who are listening are like, wow, because I'm looking at you, I'm like, okay, I thought I actually knew a lot of these things, but hey, look, she's giving us bits, giving us details, and it's amazing how you combine all of these things. But I might just quickly ask, for people who are listening, you did say something, that you don't feel like a mother. It's important that we also clear some of these things so they understand where you're coming from as well. Yes. So not like you don't feel like a mother. I think your perception would be you don't feel, tied down.
Okay,
as a mother, so because I know I have seen you nurture. I see how much you give your time to your girls. I have actually observed that. I've witnessed it firsthand, and I know how you try to give them the best of it. But I mean, quickly, I would just like to put this out there quickly. I know you have said all of these things, and it feels overwhelming. It is even for me listening, and I'm sure some people are saying, "How old is she?" I mean, this is a very young lady, by the way, very young. And there are sometimes you feel this is too much. Honestly. There's sometimes you just feel, you know what? This is too much for me. I am overwhelmed. I need to drop some of these things, And I know amidst all of these things you do, I know you still try to help a lot of women. Women who want to delve into one business or the other, women who have issues with their sex life and all of that. You are, like I said before at the beginning, you wear so many hats. So how do you navigate? Do you feel sometimes overwhelmed and you want to just stop all of it and just focus on one? Or how do you get yourself fueled?
Okay, so even doing one thing, you are definitely overwhelmed rather than doing a lot of things. So I think at some point, my personality, sometimes I have zero energy to do this thing and I have 100% energy to do that thing. I get tired of things easily and I'm like, okay, if I'm getting tired of this thing, I need to divert into another thing. So it's overwhelming. But I think the only thing that pushes me is resilience. If I break down, that thing that's breaking me down, I don't want it to break me down again, and I go ahead and I push myself to do another thing. So doing one thing for me just makes me feel like, oh, I'm not doing anything at all, because the next person who comes to me is wanting a solution. So I think in my life, I've been able to navigate who I am. I've seen myself as somebody who wants to solve problems, and people come with different problems, and I said, okay, this is what I can do. I can help you. So in my real estate space, I am having this mindset that I'm coming into the real estate space, especially in Lagos. There are a lot of things going on that clients don't know. And I'm coming, in fact, right now I lecture. I'm coming right in and I'm seeing that I can solve these problems for people and they can get their houses in the right way. That's my interest. I'm coming into the fashion space and I'm like, oh, I can dress you up and you can look the best way you can. That's my interest. Oh, you're being arrested by the police. In fact, going to the police station can break you down, because you see people who want to be helped, they don't have lawyers. And you coming in would actually help those people, and they give you confidence. In fact, you see people, oh, Theresa, I will never forget you. And I know that I can solve that problem with who I am, the personality I've chosen to have. But trust me, it is overwhelming. And how do I solve this problem when it's overwhelming for me? I call people who I trust, who trust me, and they know that, Theresa, what you are doing is too much. But they are ready to support me.
Absolutely.
And I tell people that I'm
support. Please, let's drink to that. Let's drink to that. Please, let's drink to that. Support. Support.
They are definitely ready to support me, and they won't judge me. And they're not going to tell me, Theresa, you're doing a lot. So sometimes I'm very confused. But there is something I tell myself when I look at the mirror. I say, I'm confused, but I want to progress in my confusion.
Yeah.
So with time, my confusion would fade away. But the major thing is that I am solving a problem, and my personality in tunes in all these things that I do. So, but trust me, it's overwhelming.
You know, it sounds very overwhelming. Even for me talking about it, or for me even just sitting here and asking all these questions, just so that people listen to you, people learn, people are able to get the best of it and also get inspired by what you do. I find it also very overwhelming. I find it very overwhelming. And before we delve into, I actually have like three instant questions. And these questions will actually be you stating the hat you wear in different scenarios. Okay. But before we jump into those scenarios, I would like to quickly ask, you're also a sex therapist, which is actually very concerning for a lot of women. And it is fascinating, you know, being a lawyer, doing law, fashion designer, making people be beautiful. I'm sure some of your pieces will be displayed, you know, here, and people will be able to see how much work you do. And of course, the realtor work you do as well. I know how passionate you are, especially with a lot of dubious agents everywhere. For this aspect, you know, which is what made you step into this zone? What made you feel, oh, you know what, this is an area that I want to delve into. This is an area I want to help women with. So what made you become a sex therapist? Okay, so that was a very personal decision because it had to relate to me. And because of the kind of society we live in, that they're against women expressing their sexual needs. And for me, I would love to express what I have experienced. And because most women don't understand themselves. And the moment I began to understand myself, I said, this thing is sweet though. And I decided that other women need to understand themselves. And if they understand themselves, they would enjoy sex. And what made me to actually preach about these things, because before now, I will also tell you, oh, I don't like sex. By the way, one of the videos that blew on YouTube was Theresa doing a video on how to give a blowjob. I mean, it was crazy, but it brought a lot of views to her page. Yeah. And I'm like, what is wrong with this girl? How to give a blowjob? Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's for me to experience something, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm like, there are women out there that are not enjoying sexual sexual intercourse, and they need to understand their bodies. And if you understand your bodies, you can talk. I just believe that sometimes what is lacking in sexual relationship is communication. And once you're able to communicate your body to your man, you would enjoy sex. And because most women are very shy, they go into their shell about sexual discussions, even with their partners. Especially when they come to say, oh, I want sex this way, I want sex that way. They even find their husbands against them. So I'm living with a man who wants me to express myself. And I express myself to the very last. So it's pushed me to say what I have experienced right now, and because I've been in different women groups.
Yeah.
So you see that being in different women groups, you realize that this is the topic, this is the discussion. Most of them will tell you they can't give it, they don't even want to, they don't enjoy a blowjob, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I'm in this women's group and I teach them. And they go back and they tell me, Theresa, we tried it and it worked. Yeah, because it's something I later experienced. I'm like, oh, I need to teach these people how to. So in this women's group that I joined, when they talk about this problem, I tell them, see, do it this way.
Yeah.
And they go back and, oh, Theresa, they send me private messages and like, Theresa, this thing worked. So most of them are not just exposed to knowing about that they can know about their bodies and they can communicate about their bodies to their man. And because it's your body, it's not the man's body, you actually know where you feel what you're feeling. Because most women will keep quiet and say, oh, they know that part that their man or their husband is touching them, it's painful, but they're afraid to speak about it. And I'm like, no, you have to speak about it if you want to enjoy sex.
Well done on that, actually. I mean, I know that I have been able to witness firsthand, the many hats you wear, and I see how you help women. I mean, I've seen women call you. I've seen you organize women groups, women webinars. And I think on one of those occasions as well, you once invited me to speak on, was it confidence building or something in one of those webinars? Well done on everything you do. And I think you have graciously touched on everything. I mean, first of all, how you became a fashion designer. You did talk about, your whole tailoring experience, talked about your also real estate law experience as well, which has been amazing. I'm sure we are all fascinated by what we're hearing. Well done, Theresa. You're doing a great job. Well done. Well done. But I mean, let me just quickly ask you this quick scenario fact, and you just answer the hat you wear. So one, your friend is going through a messy divorce. What hat do you wear?
I wear my legal hat.
You are helping someone set up their first home. What hat do you wear?
Real estate hat.
Your child wants to borrow something from your closet.
And I wear my fashion hat.
Okay. Nice one. Now the rapid fire questions. I'll ask you rapid fire questions and just say the first thing that comes to your mind. The first thing that comes to your mind. Now, one, what's the favorite part of being a lawyer?
I think just helping people solve legal problems.
Excellent. Okay. The best fashion tip for busy women.
Always look great. Always look great. That's the first way to sell your business.
Okay. One thing you wish people knew about sex therapy.
One thing, I think communication.
Okay. What's your guilty pleasure when you're not working?
Cartoons.
Wow, interesting. I didn't see that coming. If you could add one more hat to your life, what would it be?
I think tech. I think tech because
I didn't see that coming. Oh my goodness. I didn't see that coming.
I think tech because I think the aspect of law that I find very what's this aspect is tech law. And I'm like, okay, how are they doing it? I think tech. I think if I want to venture into anything, I tried it once and I think it's very, for me, I think it's very difficult. But I think I would love to know tech because it's modern, it's what's trendy, it's what's happening. Well, I don't think I want to wear any other hat again because it's exhausting.
Wow. I mean, it's been an incredible conversation so far. I mean, learning from you, listening to you. I'm sure people are wondering, like, wow, how do we connect to this person? This is Theresa Osime. Sibyl, she has a middle name, Sibyl. Yes, Sibyl. Yes. You can connect with her. You can send us a message, and of course, we would always get it across to Theresa if you need to connect with her. And we thank you so much, really. We thank you so much for being our very first guest on this podcast. Like I said before, it is bold conversations, good conversations, empathy, evolvement, courageousness, and everything good. positive, noble, uplifting. That's why we're here, to have this conversation. I hope you stay with us. I mean, this is something I'm sure you would not want to miss. Living the EQ live. We're actually live. I will keep being live. So you all, we are getting at it.
Yeah.
I hope you stay with us. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you all enjoyed this very, 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 very first foremost podcast, Living the EQ Live. See you next time.